stage.
Hello, this is Digital Trends Live from CES 2020. Thanks everybody for joining. If you are familiar with this show, you know about Tech Briefs, and that is where Mr. Ken Yeung joins the show from Flipboard to discuss some of the biggest topics in tech, and that's going to be happening today. I'm Greg Nibler. Also, to my right, we have Maude Garrett.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me into the show. Now, I think it's definitely worth mentioning, you guys do this podcast every single week.
Yes.
This is the first time you're meeting in real life in the same room.
The first time it feels odd. I feel like I need to hold up a screen
The
to look at Ken,
bromance is happening.
but it is. It's here in person, live at CES, and that is why it's so awesome. And Ken, there's so much, as usual, for us to talk about. And with CES, you have been out there on the floor, so I really want to get your opinion on some of this. But let's talk about some of the odder tech that's been promoted a lot to start off with, and that is Samsung's Neon, which is what they've been touting as an artificial person, which that term alone is a little bit scary, but this is their move towards artificial intelligence, and they made a real distinct thing to say it is not Bixby, so they really want to separate from that, and it was actually unveiled. Did you get to go see this, and what are your thoughts on this?
So my thought was that they would make some sort of announcements. It would have been part of some embargo, and like somebody would have a deeper, in-depth view about it. I was looking at the map of the convention center, and as typical, Samsung has this massive complex there. But then they had this little outpost that's called Neon, and it seemed very strange. I'm like, wait, is that Samsung's Neon, or is it some other company that's also called Neon? But it turns out that's actually Neon, and it's a subsidiary. It's backed by Samsung, so it's its own company, as it were.
Star Labs, guys.
Star Labs, there you go,
yes.
yeah.
Do you know the reference for Star Labs?
I do not.
Guys, I need you to get indulged in more Flash.
Maude's
It's from DC Comics,
right
Flash.
now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Star Labs.
Yeah, probably. But that one has a lot more of an interest than actual Neon itself. So the booth, though, it's very much what you see in terms of what was posted online right now, and it's very plain. There's a nice little stage. They have these avatars that are there, and in terms of demos, they were very shy in terms of what was revealed. They wouldn't necessarily, they weren't forthcoming in terms of sharing like what were the use cases beyond what was already revealed by media. And at this point, it seems like it's more like a chat bot. It's this thing that would be useful for around customer service, for meetings, just as a virtual assistant of sorts. But it questions like, why would we want to use this as opposed to having a robot or something like that? So there's a lot of hype that was built around this. I was personally interested. I was hoping that could this have been like what Samsung's goal for AI should have been all along, and Bixby was just kind of like this.
Like
Stepping stone.
Yeah, is it a stepping stone, or
Yeah,
it's a ruse, right? It's like, hey, no, we just getting, we want to learn what data, we want to collect all this data, learn from it, and then boom, here we have a Neon built by Viv Labs, but they seem to disappoint right now. But I mean, their CS is still ongoing, so there's a lot of more time to see what they could come out with, and maybe more information will be revealed later on.
Can I get a little bit catty here?
Sure.
The most realistic part about Neon were her jeans. Have you seen the pictures of her?
Well,
she's sitting there and she's like got her jeans on, and I'm like, wow, those jeans look real. Her face doesn't.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So there's actually when I was there, they actually have there's an iPad that one of the people had, and I have a photo of it. And there's actually all these different customizations you can make on there. So yeah, you can modify like their clothing and their facial structures and everything like that. And it's not just her. Like there's different other people as well. You can have like an older white gentleman, an Asian person, whatever you feel more comfortable having. There's that type of customization. But it's funny as you look at the bottom of every screen. It says for illustrative purposes only.
Interesting.
So it's still very, very rough about what Samsung Neon is. So I think we won't probably find out more details for quite some time.
So Greg and I are a little bit apprehensive about this Neon because it's openly saying that the purpose and point of it is to take our jobs as TV anchors, as personalities, as actors, movie actors. What else was it going to be?
Yoga instructor was the other thing they mentioned. That, apologies to yoga instructors. Probably you don't want your job taken either. But yeah, that was definitely part of that I was like, huh,
And then I saw her, I was like, try harder.
Yeah.
But if you remember, I think about a few years ago, there's startups
can
that tried
sweat
to do avatars to relay the news as anchors, and that didn't do as well. So I think there's still hope for you guys left. I mean, there's
Thank
plenty
you,
of
Thank you
media
very
will still
much.
will still require humans to do their job.
For now, Ken will let us pass. It's going to be the Ken bot before long, too, just so you know.
Ken
Available on it'll stream Ken Plus.
That's actually got a really good ring to it. You
It does.
joke, but
See.
I like that.
All right, I'm going to trademark that now. All right, let's go on. Let's talk about something else that's big here this year at CES because of what a huge year it was in not a great way for privacy concerns for companies. And this is across the board. We're really going to focus, though, just on a couple of companies right now, one of them being Facebook.
Yeah.
I think Facebook is something we talk a lot about on the show, and it's usually not in a great light. And they are here this year actually to talk about some of the ways they're addressing privacy. So that's part of it. And one of the things they did announce also today in conjunction with that was the banning of deep fakes on their platform, kind of. I mean, it was really open-ended. You know, you would think this was coming in to make a very strong statement is what it seemed like we will not allow deep fakes. And they're saying they're not going to allow anything that would, potentially implicate somebody into saying something that they didn't say. But they leave a lot of leeway for them to also allow it because parodies are allowed.
Yes.
It's really confusing.
Way to take a stand, Facebook.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Whilst sitting.
I don't like
Yeah.
this, but,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't really say if maybe it's, that's
So
what it seems like.
so let's start with the fact that they are at CES. They don't have a booth, even though they do have hardware with Facebook Portal.
Yes.
But that's not showing off here. I've not seen that booth. But they are here to talk about privacy. They're on a panel with Apple to talk about privacy, which is kind of an interesting dichotomy there, interesting contrast. So they announced the new privacy settings. I should actually correct. They actually do have a Facebook, I think, a booth, but not at the convention center. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
similar
at a
to like the
hotel.
Google. Yeah, it's at some hotel. But they have a Facebook. It's all about updating your Facebook privacy settings, and they've done these type of things at the other conferences as well, South by Southwest and probably MWC and like. And it's just making sure that you know that how you can control your settings without getting outraged by what the hell happened. Why is this the case? Who had access to my data? I didn't give them permission. Oh wait, I did. But it's a privacy checkup as it were. So that's helpful, especially in the past couple years where Facebook's been dealing with the regulatory issues and being sued countless times over their privacy stuff.
And having external forces actually
Exactly.
make corrupted,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean,
voting policies.
So on that front, in terms of like that leads up to the deepfakes policy now. This is a good step. Of course, they allow some wiggle room and like they won't take down the controversial Nancy Pelosi deepfakes.
See, and that's,
And it's been proved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's a
they
fake.
won't take it down. But I also wonder, is there a potential loophole? And I tweeted this out last night. Is that what happens if a politician, and there are politicians that have shared deepfake photos and deepfake videos that they make it an ad and they post it on Facebook. Facebook doesn't fact check politician ads. So is there some sort of a loophole there?
A politician actually made a stand about that where they posted false information and then paid Facebook to advertise it. And the more it kind of grew, the more that they were proving their point.
But Facebook ultimately took those ads down because the politician who's running for governor of California said out
It's
loud
fake.
he's running as to prove Facebook's policy is lax.
So anyone that's combating Facebook in itself will be removed, but anything else that will impact anyone else, it's fine.
Pretty much.
Cool,
It's-
Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big discussion to have too of how that's going to be handled. But there's a lot of companies that need to figure this out, especially with the election coming up and Facebook being the preeminent one. So we'll see if they clarify that statement or how that actually gets enacted. But that's something else. I know we need to get to our break here, and we're out of time. But we do have to bring up one other thing, and we're going to be doing these all week, by the way. So I'll let people know about that here in a second. Flying car from Hyundai is now partnering with Uber. So Uber, of course, promising that their Uber Elevate service is something they've been wanting for a while, to where it would be just that, flying cars, flying taxi services that you would take in conjunction with the regular Uber. Now Hyundai saying they're going to make those cars, and the key thing being they're saying it's going to be ready for production, mass production, by 2023.
That's 3 years' time.
So
Thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, that 3 years very ambitious. The fact that they're bringing in a car maker as a partner now, I don't know, but Hyundai, sure. I think it's promising that it actually has legs now. But let's not forget that Uber's not the only one in terms of trying to build some sort of flying car, flying taxi type of scenario. But I think in this new decade, the future of transportation will be rapidly changing, and I think in 5 years' time we'll probably be able to see a demo of an actual takeoff of a flying car. That's my just off the cuff estimation prediction. But look, I think this is a good one. Like Hyundai wants to innovate. They realize that they may not be able to necessarily compete, car to car with the other makers. But at CES, everyone's touting electric vehicles and other types of ways of getting around. With gas prices going up and the electric vehicle market getting crowded. So why not innovate? Find a way to really disrupt your own business and reinnovate yourself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting. I mean, I love this kind of innovation just to see where it's going to go. But I think that could be a good topic for tomorrow, too, talking about the automotive industry and technology, because we're out of time for this edition of Tech Briefs. And I want to thank everybody who's tuning in. Right? Yeah, it's brief. But that way, everybody gets to find out something about what's going on in 10 minutes. But of course, you can always follow at Flipboard, at digitaltrends.com/CES for all the news going on. Maude, Ken, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And like I said, we'll be back here tomorrow with another edition of Tech Briefs. But